Well, thank you for telling me. Uh, this is the problem with having also a small amount of people watching the stream. Uh, yeah, thanks guys. I'm sorry. I mute the mic just to not have the double audio at the start when I'm playing the music. Uh, uh, Typical. I've watched a lot of streamers in the past. It's such a typical thing, typical problem with mute thing. No, I haven't been saying all that much. I said, hi guys, thank you for liking the stream. This is me, Theo, Uncommon Sense. Please say hi in the chat. Ask me something about, mental health, weight loss, muscle building. I'm calling the stream, but about anything really. Echo. Saying there's echo. I listen to that. No, I haven't been saying all that much. I said, hi guys, thank you for liking. Okay, okay. We seem to be good. Yeah. No, but ask questions or just say hi, tell me what's on your mind or whatever. Yeah, so dumb. Happy Sunday, John Adams, and thanks DGS and HD6 skills for pointing out the problem with the mic. No, but I've been saying I was a little behind on collecting questions for the stream to answer before we have a stream going. A little bit more guys in the chat, and that just got one here. Really, it's not really a question, but something a guy would like to know. He would like to know actionable steps to be efficient with using time. So I said that from my experience, I'm starting to suspect I'm actually bipolar. I don't really have a huge interest in going to get it diagnosed. I have an ADHD diagnosis. I'm not neurotypical anyway. But so what that means basically to me, because I've said bipolar sometimes, because it just describes, I feel like, how I function. That sometimes I have very high highs, sometimes quite low lows, sometimes around the middle there. Well, during the high highs time, you can say it's like when you're motivated and you have a lot going on. I'm someone that don't really have to even think about being efficient with my time because I just will be. I'm just so excited to get to stuff. And if I have a little bit of spare time, I'm like, then I can do this thing, this other thing. But it's not always like that. And so I think building routine, habits again, is important. It's like just going to the gym. Like when you have the habit that I go on these days at around this time to do this kind of workout, when it's a habit, you'll just end up going even when you don't like feel like it. And it's like because I'm thinking this guy probably is studying. When you have a lot of time, you like often to just put off that, I'm going to study this entire weekend. I'm going to put this weekend up for studying, but then you end up procrastinating a lot. So I think actually creating a sort of schedule for yourself, like rather than thinking I'm going to spend the entire Saturday and Sunday studying, for instance, just put up like, yeah, I'll go up at around this time. I'll spend this amount of time doing this. I'll go on a walk or whatever you like to do. And then I'm going to sit for 1 hour straight and study. And then I'll take a little break. And then I'll sit for one more hour, like kind of not get in over your head. It's like again when people want to train, or they've been really slow with trying to train because they think I need to go so often. Just make an appointment to even go there to start with. It's the same. So I've done this sometimes also just when sometimes when you've had a certain, like when I was in Greece, for instance, I come back and things kind of change. You don't have typical schedule, right? And then I will actually sit and write down what I want my mornings to look like. I go up at this time. Then I take a cold shower. I do my little meditation or silent prayer. And then I might even schedule something like 20 minutes to just like do whatever, scroll a little bit, respond to a friend or something. And then maybe I schedule like, I'm gonna write this Instagram post or I'm gonna edit this video or whatever. But sometimes when you have, especially someone like myself that I'm not employed, I might be, so I might take a little part-time PT job in a gym. But mostly my work tasks I plan out myself. And it's easy sometimes to think like, for instance, these three things I'm gonna do tomorrow. But then, like when you don't have a real plan for it, you end up procrastinating, you're putting up something, and maybe you just got like one or two of these three tasks done. While if you plan it out before, that at this time I'll at least spend time doing this, or I'll spend time doing this, it's much more likely to happen. Just create, so that would be my thing, about being more efficient with time. Don't think that you're gonna start out just making your entire day super productive if you're not if you feel like you're procrastinating a lot right now. Just create a little schedule, a little structure, and because sometimes it's so easy to think like, no, but I need to spend many hours on this thing. 1 hour to plan, it's not enough. But if you barely get anything done anyway, 1 good hour when you're actually focused is so much better, right? Yeah, but that's all I had from people before. So what's up with you guys? I think you've been four here. I never know with a little viewer count. It's not reliable. But how are you? How's your training going? Are you crushing your goals? What's on your mind? Let me know. I was on what is it called? No, a doop, like when you get baptized, baptism, you call it that, for my cousin's little twins, one girl and one boy yesterday. Was nice. It's like those twins, one girl and one boy. I've never seen such like obvious difference between a boy baby and a girl baby. Like especially the little girl, she looks so feminine for being a baby. She has these like big eyelashes. So probably gonna be grow up to be a cute young lady. No, but that was nice. Like all my cousin, she's 3 years older than me. I have a very small family, so she's kind of like my sister. But yeah, all their friends are around their same age, and they all have kids. So it was just a whole bunch of kids uh, around. Yeah, a super chat from the Lie Award. Appreciate that, buddy. 5 New Zealand dollars. G'day, mate. How many grams of salt do you take per day on fasting days and on eating days? Um, yeah, so that's a good question, to be honest. Like when I'm fasting, the thing is, it's not, when I fast personally, I don't have a certain amount of salt I feel like I need to have. I just drink by feel. So it's more about the concentration I use for the snake juice, and then I will just drink by feel. Sometimes if I'm fasting when it's hot outside, or if I go use the sauna, which I will do often, of course, then I will need so much more than if it's a colder day and I'm kind of sedentary on my fast. So for my snake juice, I use 1 gram of sea salt, sodium chloride, and 1 gram of potassium chloride per liter. And I would guess if I'm really inactive, and that maybe just 2 liters of that, so 2 grams of each. But being really active and using the sauna, that might be up to 5 liters. But when I eat though, I have much more salt in all the cooking and that, so I'm probably up to like 10 grams of sodium, less potassium, because I'm not going to take that extra, I'm going to get it from some of my foods. But sodium, as long as you're not diabetic or anything, you can't really, unless you go super extreme, but you don't really uh, eat too much if you're healthy and not diabetic, because you're just going to excrete, pee out the excess anyway. Um, Stan Efferding talks about it. He I think he's up to like 15 grams of sodium per day or something. But yeah, man, then I hope that answers your question. Appreciate the super chat once again. DGS, enjoying the return of live streams from both you and Cole. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I've seen Cole's. Maybe you saw I put up a little short. I mean, because I have a thing that I get notified from Cole's videos, and I always drop in and just I comment his old catchphrase. Everyone have a great day and get that fat in ya. He has such more lighter voice than me. It's difficult for me to imitate him. Um, but yeah, so I usually comment that, and so I donated a super chat and made him say it because I like that. Now he's saying stop fucking eating, fatty, but I like the old one better. Get that fat in you. No, but Cole is his live streams are great. Like I remember just when I found him, I went back to watch a lot of the old ones, and I remember when I was doing my first dry fast that's documented on this channel, I was listening a lot to the streams. And I just remember some of them were so great, where he just started like, he's waiting there, staring until there's enough people in the chat, and then hey fatty, and I remember him going into this rant, just like, listen, blah blah blah, stop being on the computer all the fucking time, blah 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 blah. That's why you don't have any real friends. He made so much sense in this rant. He just went straight into, and you could tell that he hadn't planned it or anything. And yeah, no, he both what he says with his whole mannerisms is just hilarious. And of course, he has great information, and that and he's very, he's someone that really truly cares about helping people as well. And I'm glad that's helpful, Elia. And if you have any other question, you don't have to send a super chat, of course. You can just ask. Um, John Adams, my head works overtime, always thinking of something or another. Stops me being productive and focused on what I should be focusing on. What do you do to distract yourself from it? Back on track. Well, um, I mean, it would be helpful if you were a little more specific, but it's actually I'm following a program right now that's called Immortal Mind, and that it's kind of the point that we spend time not being in the moment, like we're doing something, but we're thinking of what happened yesterday or what's going to happen tomorrow, and it's just a waste of energy because a lot of time, I mean, sometimes, of course, there's some use to thinking ahead of planning something, but many times when we're just stressed, for instance, about, oh, it's going to be a long day tomorrow, oh, I'm going to have to do this, oh, I wonder how this will be. There's really nothing productive about it whatsoever. You're just leaking energy and it's taking focus from what you're doing right now. Um, so it's kind of the trick. So in this program I follow, I'm not gonna, I don't feel it's fair to share everything I've learned from that program because, it's a program you pay for and you have a sort of the teacher. Um, but but because not all the information, he gives free information too. But the point is kind of the same thing as in the video I did. I don't remember what it's called now, but I talked about how you have to dismiss when you're fasting, for instance, and you start going down that path, like, oh, I'd like to eat. Oh, maybe if I do this, and so, la, la, la. When you start that whole negotiation process, and that's what the whole non-negotiable thing comes from. Stop the negotiation process as soon, if you're fasting, for instance, and you catch yourself thinking about eating somehow, just dismiss. Just be like, no, I don't have to be thinking about this right now. And that's kind of the point. There's different levels to this mind control thing in this program I'm following, but the first step is basically it's not the meditation. It's like you're sitting and you're actively thinking about nothing but sitting. And when you want to do little things like, oh, you need to scratch, you want to adjust, blah, 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 that's still your mind trying to stimulate itself somehow. So you're supposed to resist that. And when you start thinking about something like, oh, they did this yesterday, blah, 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 or, oh, this thing I'm going to do later, blah, blah, step one is to think, I don't need to be thinking about this right now. And you might sometimes have to dismiss the same thought over and over again. But yeah, I am mostly, I'm really someone that can think ahead way too much sometimes, just waste energy thinking about, oh, how will this be? It's gonna be tough, this, oh, I'm not looking forward to this, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, many of those things aren't so bad when you come to them, but yeah, you just waste a whole lot of energy thinking about it before you're even there. Like being in the here and now, it takes skill, but yeah. But many things, like, because I'm not sure what you meant exactly, John. And this is a problem, I feel like, when people want to ask stuff and be so general instead of being an example. Like, when I'm supposed to do this exact thing, I lose focus. What should I do, But, it's also good to find the things. I talk about stacking wins, right? And raising your frequency. And like the higher frequency you're on, you're basically the more in the moment you are, pretty much. So if you can find those things that if you do them first, you're gonna be more in the moment. So right now, for me, for instance, I'm not always the most motivated in the morning. And say like, if I'm thinking about recording a video, I feel like, I can't really come up with anything, da, da, da. But I know that if I just go hit my workout, even my workout, I might not feel super excited about when I go do it. But when I've done it, though, I will have raised my frequency. I'll be happier in the moment, and it's more likely. Because, when inspiration, creativity, you're not supposed to have to think about something. Something is just, it's supposed to just come to you. But yeah, I just used whatever you said there to kind of go on everything I could think about around that. Benjamin, hey man, wink. You have good content. Well, thank you, man. I went down from 97 kg, 77 kg so far this year. Now at around 15% body fat, and goal is to get under 10% till the end of this year. 4 to 500 calorie deficit is what I've done. Sounds good, man. So 20 kilos so far, that's good. 15% body fat, you say. So I'm guessing you have some abs then, but maybe not completely super chiseled. I will say also that most people underestimate body fat percentages, like both their own and others'. Um, but it doesn't matter really. Um, let's see, math adds up. Is there anything else I need to think about when getting under 10%? Well, do you want to get under? Um, how tall are you? And how advanced are you, like lifting wise? I'm guessing you lift as well, right? Um, Most people that talk about body fat percentages do. Um, Yo, guys, Pink Supremacy says, yo, what's up? What's new with you? What's on your mind? But anything else you need to think about when getting under 10%? I mean, not really. I would say that it's going to vary a little bit between individuals, but I would say that it's under 10% somewhere where it might start to get more difficult for you, you know, that you're actually like that it's a more of a stress on the body like that. But no, not really, like something to say, like, because I don't know you personally, but for a lot of people I've noticed that when they start to approach the best shape they've ever been in, they just start self-sabotaging because it's subconscious belief, right? The becoming better than they ever been, it's like they don't have that self view in the subconscious. So even though they're not at a point when it's supposed to be like just physically more taxing yet, something just makes them self-sabotage more. So that would be my one thing, like be prepared to be like, oh, if it's gone smooth for some time, be prepared that you might just find yourself having a harder time, like for seemingly no good reason, but it's often the subconscious belief that no, I can't be in this good shape. No, I'm not supposed to be in this good shape. That's what your subconscious is telling you, and then your conscious mind is be like, oh, I'm so hungry, or oh, I really want to eat, blah blah. But so that's the only thing really. 175 centimeters, good musculature underneath the fat. Yeah, it should have decent muscle. If you're actually 15% body fat now at 77, and you're 175 centimeters, that should be decent musculature, yes. Um, yeah, let's see. HD6 skills. I went down from 104 kg to 86 kg in 6 months. Now at around 20% body fat, still for some belly with chest fat, which is not going away. Do you think getting to 80 kg will be enough to get to 15% body fat? 6 feet. 6 feet. Yeah, I mean, if those numbers are all accurate, that should be about it. Yes. But it sounds like you have some muscle there then as well. Belly and chest fat, which is not going away. I just find it funny when people say this. It's like, what do you mean it's not going away? Like you're not taking it away. You mean like, because it's not stuck there. It's gonna go away if you go in a deficit somehow for long enough. But yeah, like looking at the numbers, like I think from my experience that 1 kilo of body fat is like a little more than 1% body fat. But it again, that would depend, of course, on how much you weigh and everything, because it's relative like that. It's like 10% body fat at 70 kilos and 80 kilos. It would be more fat mass on you still if you're 80 kilos, right? But yeah, so 6 kilos. if you're 20% body fat now and to get to 15%, that should be about right, yes. But the number doesn't really matter. The question is, will you have a look you're happy with or a feel, lightness you're happy with then? Peak supremacy, great. I'm down to 77 after the dry fast. 77 kilos. How tall are you, man? Uh, Big Game Giants. Hey, Coach Theo, what are your thoughts on a watermelon cleanse slash fast? Um, I mean, I don't know. Like, I haven't looked into what like why watermelon specifically, Like, but so I will say, I think for some time, I thought these like juice fasts and stuff sounded dumb. And I think still, detox they say and stuff like you detox your kidneys and stuff, and liver and all that, they detox stuff. Just fasting is a detox. But I will say that you know, the sun soda kind of fast I did, I liked it for other reasons, Like it was a breeze just compared to regular water fast. What I also liked about it was that when it's time to break the fast, because you've been consuming some carbs, you can hit the workout much harder than you could if you'd just been doing the salt water. So with watermelon specifically, I'm not sure. But I've also sent it like detox. I don't think the fruit will do anything to like, oh, get out toxins, blah blah like that. But maybe just eating some fruit on a fast like this would be kind of a good way to cleanse the gut specifically. Get in some watery, slightly sugary fruit, with some fiber to just get stuff moving in there. But yeah, those are the thoughts I have on that. Um, what is the lowest body fat percent you ever got to, and how did you feel? Benjamin asks. Uh, it's hard to. It's so difficult with these body fat percentages because, like, there's no completely accurate way of measuring it, and people will look a bit different at different looks from different angles because we store fat slightly differently in that. But I would say probably I've been down to 7-8%, and I can just recall once when I done 10 people watching. That's nice. Hey everybody, like if you haven't, say hi in the chat, ask your questions, or just tell us what's on your mind. But yeah, back in the day when I did a very aggressive cut, um, I had less muscle mass, but I probably got down to like there 7-8% or something, and I could just tell that at a point, both fasting because I had no like real goal of how low I wanted to go. I just kept doing stuff, and the fasts had been kind of easy up until that point, and all of a sudden they really slowed me down, and like for a day after or so, and then I had to like instead of doing back to back fasting as I was doing then, I had to take a few days of eating until I felt like, okay, now I'm energized again. I went into a new fast. But what I could tell was that before, like when I was slightly higher, I didn't really have to think so much about maintaining it. If I just went about my days the way I do, training, walking, moving, eating, so I'm happy, I can maintain it. But I could tell when I got down like really low, I would have to actually, hold back, stop, just be a little hungry and that. And I don't really think it's worth it, to be honest. Like if you just put on a good amount of muscle mass and the 10 to 15% body fat range, most people are going to look great there, and you're going to feel great also. Getting down like that super lean, it's cool to see, and if you want to take some pictures or for some certain moment or something, but I don't really think it's worth maintaining that. Let's see here. HD6 skills. I have noticed the belly has gone down a lot. Before, the fat used to be hard. Now it's very soft, which I'm guessing is the fat cells filled with water. It might be, but if you used to like, the classic beer belly, that's kind of a hard gut like that. I can't say that I know exactly why, but it can also, if you did something like you used to drink a lot of beer or something and you don't anymore, that could be it as well. But yeah, it can also be that you're just holding on to some water. Peak supremacy, 174 centimeters. Okay, and 77 kilos. And what do you think? What would you estimate your body fat percentage to? You're kind of strong, is, from what I recall, when you posted something about your lifts months ago. Ekas Vissagalis. Hey all, smiley face. Hey you, how did your long fast go there? I'm guessing it's over now, or because you were 30 plus days in, if I recall correctly. How how has it been going since then, or are you still on this giga fast? Oh wow, yeah, okay. Day 47 of water fast. Today I wanted to sit at a family dinner and watch everybody eat. It was easy but a little frustrating at the same time. 20 kg lost so far. Well, that's cool. That's cool. But I think, if weight loss would be your only goal, I think splitting this up into, you know, some days of fasting and then eating, and I think you'd actually lose more because by now your metabolism should, I mean, I don't know because I have never been super overweight, and I don't know if you're in ketosis and you carry a lot of body fat, maybe you have quite high metabolism still. I'm not sure, but it's also a cool experiment, of course. You see how long you can take it. Yeah, 47 days, that's quite intense. It's quite intense. Peak supremacy, body fat around 16%. Yeah, okay. Mm. So, okay. Yeah, well, you're in good shape. Can probably, there's probably room to grow a bit more if you want that, of course. But yeah, sounds like pretty good shape. I always think it's a little unfortunate that I can't see the people interacting with me here. On Instagram, you more often can, but not always. Some people are anonymous there as well. But even here, even if you wouldn't be anonymous, most people just have accounts to like comment and stuff. So you can't see. But many times it would be nice to, know more about the people watching. Okay, guys, please follow up with some more questions. I think I've gotten to everything in the chat as of right now. It's funny, I can put this like frågestund, like question moment, like Q&A at the top. But what difference does it make, really? Nekas. It would be kind of sad to give up now. I want to keep going as long as I feel good. Weight loss seems consistent so far. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, now you're so long in, right? Sure. And that's good if the weight loss seems consistent. Big surprise. It's all right. Shopping, keeping calories around 1500. I mean, man, I don't quite understand you. Like, because since you've been commenting on this channel, you've been fasting a lot, and now you're eating 1500 calories. Like, did you come to this channel when you were way fatter or something? Because, sometimes when you talk to people, you're like, okay, when do you eat? Like, you're fasting and you're eating 1500 calories, and you're weighing 77 kilos now. Köping. It's a city in Sweden. R. Callahan. Is fasting the best way to start? To start what? Fasting the best way to start what? Weight loss? I mean, who are you? What's your current situation? Have you fasted before? Have you done anything before to lose weight? Do you train? It's way too little information here. The best way to start. You're not asking about the best way to start fasting either. You're asking if fasting is the best way to start. Start what? And who are you? That's what I need to know to answer that properly. Yeah, my guys, I want you to ask me something or tell me something. I've been thinking about doing certain presentations on lives, but for now, more people see videos I put out, even if they're long, than people that see the stream afterwards. So as long as the stream is quite small, I think I want to save the presentations for standalone videos. But I could bring up stuff on the screen, just so you know. Yeah. I'll try looking in the chat. What options do I have to make you do stuff? Um, I can start a vote, but you're like 10 people here. So, um, pink supremacy. Oh, well, good. Now I have some questions, but keep them coming, please, guys, and like the stream if you haven't already. Pink supremacy, not really. It might seem like that. I weighed 93 kilos in February. I've done 4 longer fasts since then, down to 77, as I wrote. Okay, I see. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Maybe you just commented, or it's just that when you mention when you're on a fast or something, that you that's what I remember, and it seems like you do it more often than you do. Maybe are we getting more people like and comment or ask in the chat, please? Nekas, do you think OMAD you still need to calorie restrict, or can you eat your daily requirement of calories and you'll still lose weight since you're fasting for 23 hours anyway? No. Um, I mean, you need to be in a deficit, of course. Like, if you're eating your daily requirement of calories, you kind of answered your question there. Yeah, you've eaten maintenance, then you're not losing weight. What I will say is that when you eat OMAD, your maintenance might be slightly higher from the slight stress, elevation in adrenaline and cortisol from the 23 hours of fasting. So, if you compare what your maintenance would be not doing OMAD to eating the same amount of calories as OMAD, yeah, maybe you end up in a slight deficit, but the point is still ending up in a deficit, and that's something you can find out. I know Cole talks about this. I'm not a huge fan of OMAD other than as a temporary weight loss intervention, but it is true that it's very easy to monitor. If you have kind of the same meal every day, and if you could see like, yeah, I'm stalling for long enough, then you just have to reduce the amount a little bit, and you should end up in a deficit. And now you should see weight loss, and if it stalls again, you'd have to reduce more or start moving more. Um, but yeah, something I will say, I tried this because I know it's an old routine of Cole's with OMAD breakfast, which was terrible. Eating so much in the morning, the first thing you do, I often had to pass out a little bit afterwards. But what I will say is, I think I ate quite a bit in that meal, and I still ended up leaning out a bit, probably from the just you have higher metabolism. That's actually something that's shown in studies, that the same amount of calories consumed just in the morning compared to spread out throughout the day, or just in the evening, that you actually burn more if you eat it in the morning. It's still not something I recommend, because it's way more difficult for most people to start eating a lot and then having to go the entire day without eating, rather than skipping breakfast and having 1 or 2 meals later. um, And we have some more questions, but just because there's one other to OMAD, I'll take that one first. I'm not on TRT, Super Censura, and I will answer your question about that. My calories are around 1,000 because I'm doing OMAD. Mubashir Kadri says, "Hey man, I don't think I've seen you. My calories are around 1,000 because I'm doing OMAD. I'm doing weight training 3 times per day, trying to cut even more. I weigh 75 kilos." And later he says, I want to get to 70 kilos and then start bulking again. Okay, so that's very low calories and you train a lot. I mean, are those high calorie, hard workouts, long workouts? Because it seems like way too much working out. 14 people, that's good to see. 15, well, please keep talking in the chat. But do you have any question about that, Mubashir? Because my comment is just that it's quite low calories and quite many workouts. Um, Okay, what do I think about TRT, Super Censura? Well, I think it's bullshit for the most part. I think people think in opposite about it, that, oh, I have low testosterone, so I need to inject it to be able to build muscle. Even though I have a poor lifestyle, I don't eat well, I don't sleep well, I never really see the sun, but my testosterone is low, so I should inject it. Maybe just start training and eat well and sleep well and go outside and get some sunlight, move a little bit, and your testosterone is going to be good. Yeah, I feel like I've answered this a lot, but I tested my testosterone 2 years ago now. It was 891 nanograms per deciliter, natural. I've only improved my habits and built more muscle since then, so it's probably just higher now. But that would be really high according to averages. But I just think the averages are shit. skewed because people generally are so unhealthy and so off these days. So, you know, if there's someone who really had tried everything and they're just an outlier in having super low testosterone, even though they're doing everything right, they're getting their micronutrients, they're getting their saturated fats and enough calories in general, and they're hitting their workouts and getting the sun and still have piss poor testosterone, then like fine. But most people don't need it. I don't want it. Um, yeah, no, and I think I fucking hate the term even TRT. It's like, no, 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 I'm natural. I'm natural. I'm just on TRT. I'm just on TRT is the new fake natty or the kind of, yeah. People want to pretend as if. No, no, no. I'm not taking steroids. I'm not just taking testosterone like that. It's actually from my doctor, testosterone replacement therapy. Bullshit. It's a way to try to make like steroids more socially acceptable and also, so you can have a legal drug dealer like that through the doctor. Nice. I'm happy you're engaging in the chat, guys. Like the stream. If you haven't, consider supporting the stream with a super chat. But please keep the just talking coming. I see that Mubashir said he meant 3 times per week. He were not 3 times per day. Well, I'm happy to hear that. um, Benjamin. At what fat percentage do you feel like the face really gets lean? 12%, 10%? Uh, I mean, that's individual too. It's going to be a little individual in what order you store or lose body fat, But for sure, I would say most people have I mean, my face looks pretty lean now still, right? I'm probably above 12% now as I'm bulking. I'm 85 kilos now. Um, so I would say sub 15%, I think no one has like a fat looking face. A few percent down, maybe it's leaner. When you start to get down to like lower than 8 or something, then you might actually start getting that kind of skeleton face. That kind of doesn't even look good. Um, Elia Ward, can you share more of your workouts? It's always good to see the solar night in action. Well, I appreciate that. I can absolutely. I will. I have a video coming up that I just haven't edited yet about just like the 7 lifts that built my physique. Obviously, I've done more exercises, but like 7 ones that I consider kind of central. And I am planning on doing more training content like that anyway. And I get more motivated to do it when people actually give me feedback like this. So absolutely, I can break down a workout here and there. I will do training and workout, related videos. But yeah, I miss now there's more people in a little gym in my house here. But there was some time when almost no one used it. And I did some live streams last summer when I was training, I was doing squats or something and talking to the chat in between. That was cool. I wish I could do more of that again. Maybe if I go up like really, really early on a Sunday or something. R. Callahan. To start getting healthy, I don't lift, pretty sedentary, want to lose weight and build strength. I'm currently 180 centimeters, 178 kilos. Um, okay. No, I mean, fasting is not the best way to start. The best way to if you're not doing anything right now, really, start moving more, you know. Start moving more, start focusing on like look, a lot of people they would benefit a lot from just thinking about lifestyle changes to start with. Of course you can try a fast, but no, fasting I wouldn't say for someone like you that it's the best place to start. You need to move more. You need to just walk more, be outside more. You need to go to the gym, just do random workouts even, and focus on not even a calorie deficit necessarily. I don't know what your eating habits, of course, but focus on eating good food, um, because you're gonna get energy from the good energy. Like it's not just empty calories, right? And when you feel like you've built a little foundation of, I go on my walks, I have a little gym routine, I eat a little better, and that maybe then consider doing some fasting. More and more people, I'm happy. Like the stream if you haven't already. Consider sending a super chat, but just engage in the chat, and I'll be very happy. Um, let's see here. Um, Pink Supremacy says this is the first time in years I'm looking kind of lean. Cool. It's nice. I don't think you have to be super shredded, but I think you can be in a nice sweet spot where on my bulk now, for instance, I don't think I'll ever feel like at the end maybe I'll feel a bit puffy, but like staying in that at least sub 18% body fat range, I think is doable for most. And the more muscle mass you have, the better you're gonna look at that kind of percentage. Um, HG6 skills, do you recommend bulking from 20% body fat? I don't. I think I indirectly answered that in what I just said before. No, I mean, it also depends on your goals because 20% body fat for a male that's eating good food and exercises and sleeps well, gets the stuff right, you're not unhealthy at 20%. It's just that personally, I like feeling a bit lighter. Um, because you don't feel light. I remember when I was like leaner than I am now, but also way less muscle mass. I remember when I had lost weight so fast that when I was done doing like a dumbbell press once and I was gonna get up like from an incline, I was like flying away with a dumbbell because I was so light. So I don't want to be too light either. But personally, I start to feel heavy. Like at the end of my bulk, when I went up to like 91 kilos, like 200 pounds, at the end, I just felt like, ugh. And that was probably something like 20% body fat. So, I mean, you could bulk. It kind of, if you were someone like a wrestler or something, that might be a good idea. But for just a typical person that likes to look lean and wants to build muscle and that, no, I would like you to you know, get down to, cut down to the 10 to 13% body fat range ish, body fat percent ish, 10 to 13, bulk from there up to around 20%. Like I would put I would not want to go higher and then repeat from there, kind of. There's so many different ways to do it, and it depends so much on your priorities and that. I, of course, think people should be kind of lean. It's just what I think. Yeah, I meant 3 times per week, Mubashir. I feel like I'm plateauing, but I can't lower calories anymore. You feel like, or are you plateauing? Are you weighing yourself consistently? Are you seeing the trend? Um, because 1,000 calories, you probably shouldn't be plateauing. Like, are you weighing yourself consistently? Are you seeing the trend? I mean, I have seen this strange thing when people like overdo a deficit sometimes, and it's like the body's doing everything to hold on to, well, I guess mostly water and stuff. But if you're plateauing at 1,000 calories, a plateau, weight loss plateau, you want to go at least 2 weeks without seeing any change in the trend before you can, because sometimes it takes a little time for the body to catch up. Uh, like I said, holding on to water and that. And then if you just stick to that deficit, eventually it was going to even out. So, yeah, first question is, do you log your weights and watch the trend? And if you do, just give it a bit more time. Yeah, and then make a decision. Um, Pink supremacy. Even after 5-day dry fast with 3 days PF I guess, very low calorie pre and 5 days low calorie post, it doesn't seem like I've lost any muscles. Nah, no, this muscle loss thing, it's the most ridiculous thing that all people are always like, but I don't want to lose muscle. I don't want to lose muscle. And I never think it's someone with actually a decent amount of muscle mass. And they're clearly fatties because they're asking about these extreme routines often. But naturally gained muscle that you built for years of consistency, and then you just do a little fasting and you get back to eating protein and training. It's like, no, your body's going to hold on to that in a different way. And if you lost anything, you're going to rebound extremely quickly when you eat protein and train again. Reflection. Do you still think OMAD is the best way to lose weight whilst maintaining or gaining some muscle? Have I ever said that? Um, Look, it depends on the individual. I think it's a great, like, I had one client once when I started this. It was when I did it more as a hobby thing, and this guy, he had literally never trained in a gym. and he was surprised that I wanted him to do that. But I gave him two full body workouts per week, and OMAD, he used to go to these eat at lunch buffets, and there was this when you can I don't know husmanskost we say in Swedish, like grandma's kitchen kind of thing. He would go to places where you could just eat some beef patties, some potatoes, some creamy sauce or something, and some vegetables. I was like, just go and eat good lunch, and hit these workouts. And I remember in that month, the only month I worked with him, he lost a good amount of fat and built some muscle because, he was such a rookie that you could actually tell the difference of these 8 workouts in a month. So, it depends on the person. I don't think it's the best for me, for instance. I think the more advanced you get, the higher frequency you want to eat at least 2 or 3 times, to spike protein synthesis a bit more often. So I don't know that I've ever said that it's the best, but it's definitely great for certain people, especially like a skinny fat person with not much gym experience. Eli Award, with testosterone that high, it must be hard to live the low fat life. Haha. Well, I did that video recently, right? And absolutely, sometimes it just comes over you, this like, animalistic urge. But I think we've been so brainwashed to be thinking about sex all the time. So when you're just not in the habit of watching porn or like being exposed to nudity or stuff like that, you're absolutely have a high sex drive, like certain interaction, with a girl I like or something might get me horny or something, and it could just randomly happen. But just because you have high testosterone, you don't necessarily go around being horny all the time. So I think yeah, the sex drive is strong, but I think it's been, greatly amplified, which is this over sexualized society. Be on like like seeing a hot girl in the gym or something. That would be when I like mostly randomly like feel a little like something. But even that, I'm there to train. I'll forget about it fast. Just channel the sexual energy into the weights instead. Niekas Vissagalis. Do you think a relationship between people from opposite sides of the world, where neither intends to move, just visit, is possible long term, or is it doomed? It's interesting that you ask me that question. I haven't been in quite that situation, but I can relate a little bit. Um, I mean, if you don't intend to move, just I mean, look, I think you're gonna have to make a decision yourself. Like, because maybe one of you will want to move at some point, right? Um, so if you both can be happy with taking it slow, loving each other on a distance, visiting here and there, see how your lives pan out. I mean, as long as you're not unhappy with the situation now, I don't really see a problem with it. Um, but you say, I guess you talked about this, but of course, I've been in a similar situation, but then it's not like that no one has any intention to move ever. Just like right now, it's not clear at all. And then if you can just be involved like that until then, as long as you're happy, right? HD, but I like to be getting this kind of question, by the way. I feel I have, this is it's just a big balloon very close to my window here. I guess they took off in the forest nearby or something. Um, but yeah, relationship stuff is something I talk a lot to my clients about. I would like to make more content about it as well. I'm just not quite sure where to start. Maybe start with something classic like how to handle a breakup or something. HD6 skills. How tall are you and how long have you been in the gym? I am 176 or 77 centimeters, so 5'9" and a half ish. I've been going to the gym for a little over 5 years now. Or like the gym, technically, I started at the very end of 2018, but I started training late July 2018. But then I count when I started, like just doing 15 minutes of negative pull-ups every other day for 2 weeks, and then adding in push-ups and adding in a little more exercise as I went. So I count when I did very, very little as my start. But yeah, I trained at home for like 4.5 months before I started going to the gym. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my progress, I must say. Bulking again now. The neck. You know, can I show it well? I don't know, sitting in a good position, but I definitely put some on my neck. Horse neck. 9 reps with 20 kilos in the gym today. Soon 10 reps with 20. And when I started training, so neck extensions like this. I did like 12 reps with 10 kilos when I started, so I'm happy about that. Um, let's see. Peak supremacy. I don't think 20% is healthy. 20% body fat. No, but it's not unhealthy for a man. If you got there eating good food and you're still training and doing all the other shit right, no, it is within the healthy range. That being said, I don't see why you wouldn't want to be a little lower. You're gonna look better, probably feel lighter, more, agile. I can only, the one that would want to be like 20% or a little over that, or so, I would just, if I was really into some strength sport or something, maybe. 3D Gar. What is your honest opinion on sunscreen and how to protect yourself best when the sun is strongest during the day? My honest opinion, like as if I have a dishonest one. No, I think sunscreen is toxic. I think the best way to protect yourself when the sun is strong, look, if you don't eat seed oils, that fuck up your cell membrane and just makes your skin very sensitive to the sun. This is a thing. There are lots of people that reported improved, tolerance to the sun after cutting out seed oils. Then you eat saturated fats. You get your fatty meat, eggs. You're gonna build up the cell membrane instead. And then if you just build, as you would with everything, progressively overload the exposure. You're smart with how you expose yourself to the sun, you're going to be able to tolerate more and more. But I think the best way, if you have to protect yourself then still, rather than putting on toxic sunscreen that actually gives you cancer, of course, actually getting burnt from the sun could get you cancer as well. But instead of using this carcinogenic sunscreen, uh, why not just cover up with clothes then? Wear a hat or just be out inside, or a little umbrella even or something, you know. So if you make yourself tolerant by cutting out the seed oils, eating a good diet, building up, increasing exposure gradually. Now you have a nice tan and you tolerate a lot of sun. But then if you have to actually protect yourself, why not do it in a smarter way than sunscreen with clothes, a hat, umbrella, just being inside when the sun is the most intense, right? I built up a strong tolerance. I could tolerate a lot of the strongest sun in Greece. And here in Sweden, I feel like I literally can't be burned anymore. Like last summer, I was out so much. It was a much sunnier summer. It was one day, it was a really hot day for being here. It was like 33 degrees in the shade. I was out the entire day. I didn't even get close to burnt. So you see, you can build up tolerance, but then there are some ways you can protect yourself. Um, Eli Award, I appreciate your honesty about the urges. Nobody's talking about this stuff. I watch a lot of porn. It always, long term, makes me feel horrible. Yeah. No, I'm glad you appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like I can be quite an open book with most things, and I'm happy to be able to be that with topics that are sensitive to some people and that. But you gotta be able to discuss these things. It's important, and it's like that. It's a shame factor. Um, and of course, I even said in that video I mentioned, I want people to feel ashamed of watching porn because it's not good. But of course, if the shame keeps you from actually getting help and talking about it, talking it out, figuring it out so you can solve it, that's not good. But yeah, man, um, I'm glad. I'm glad if you get something out of me talking about this. John Adams, I used to love OMAD breakfast. Started in a hotel in Thailand once. Only breakfast was included. I saved a fortune. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've thought about that. Because some in Thailand, I don't know, but in some hotels, you can often have a really good breakfast and as much as you like, of course, because it's a buffet. And the thought has occurred to me to do that. It's just that I wouldn't want to eat just breakfast. I'm not OMAD even. But I've done that. I've like broken fasts going to all you can eat buffets, and I've been like, shit. I hope they don't realize how much I eat because they're gonna ban me from here. Remember, if I really wanted to, I could probably find a picture. I just remember a table with so many plates. It looks like an entire family have been eating there, but it's just me breaking a fast. HG6 skills. Bro, I only have a barbell in my garden, and my dad would just tell me to do barbell curls. I did this for 5 years during the summer. This year, finally in the gym, and my biceps are overpowering. Haha, lol. That's funny, man. It's funny when something like, yeah, what you're telling here has made like one muscle is extra dominant. Sounds like you probably don't have to hit your biceps directly so much for now. Like, because, if you focus on building your entire physique and you still do, pulling movements where the biceps are involved, you're going to maintain them. So, but that's nice. I feel like biceps are one of my weakest body parts. I'm putting a little more focus on it, on this bulk now. Niekas, I'm saving a fortune by not eating at all for 47 days slowly. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's a funny thing. If you have a lot of fat on you, so you can do that. You've wasted money on all this bullshit energy for a while. Now you're getting a return on it. Or do you do the same neck workouts as Andrew Huberman? No, I mean, I don't know what I know who Andrew Huberman is, of course, but I don't know what neck workout he does. He looks like someone that trains his neck, though. And I can tell you, I might do a video about just neck training. What I do, I have the neck harness, so I do neck extensions like this. And then I've done either lying down on a bench and put a plate here and do flexions like this. But now I've actually used the neck harness and put it on a cable behind and done this. And then I do the side neck thing. That is the least convenient one to do with a harness, but I feel like it hits here so well. So then I will, there's a chain like this. I will take this, attach it to one side with a weight here, and then go down, hold it here so it doesn't slip off. Go like that. It just hits so good here. But I'm just like I did the abs video. I'm intending on doing like a similar neck video. Reflection. I do some neck training on the edge of the bench, but I'm starting at 5 kg with high reps. I might add more weight like you and do less reps. The neck adds a good look to your physique. Yeah. Yeah, and I would recommend that. That's how I did it too. Like, I don't really now. So for the neck extensions, at first I kept it in like the 10 to 15 rep range. And when I worked myself up to 15 kilos and I did like 15 reps with 15, I just tried the 20 plate and I could do like 5 strict reps. So from there, I felt like I built the foundation because, of course, you want to be a little careful with the neck. So it's just on the neck extensions that I've done slightly lower reps, but on both the flexions and the side bends, I'm still keeping it like the 12 to 20 rep range. So you can still make good progress there also, but especially starting out with something like the neck, I would like to, you know, be safe, do little high reps. Good point about sunscreen toxicity. Unfortunately, people call you reflection, saying this as well. Unfortunately, people call you crazy or a conspiracy theorist if you post the status quo. Coconut oil, cocoa butter can protect your skin when applied on top. Yeah, and do you know that caffeine, by the way, helps too? So drinking coffee or topical caffeine even actually helps protect your skin towards the sun. I'm sure there are other oils. I mean, even putting tallow or beeswax on you or something probably helps. But yeah, people call you crazy or conspiracy theory. Look, it becomes more and more like this that, I get so tired. Like, I'm someone that definitely have a tendency to become a lone wolf sometimes. And I think when you start, if you have sort of wake up to things, go on an alternative path, yeah. But like it's gonna happen is what I'm saying a little bit. But yeah, I've just started now. I try to, people they can think whatever they want. I don't go pushing. I don't have to come to the party and start talking about sunscreen all of a sudden. But I'm just gonna say what I think. This world, I'm feeling like right now in the world, it's at the same time, there are more and more people just waking up to the fact that fucking everything is a scam, everything is bullshit, everything is toxic, everything is basically upside down. You know, "Ah, the sun is dangerous. Put these chemicals on your screen." You know, while the sun is really important for your health, as long as you don't get burned. You know, and this sunscreen is on bullshit. So I feel like more and more people are waking up to all these different things at the same time, because the other half is not, you know. They seem like just more and more sheep like, just buying into all the bullshit more and more. DGS, not to think too far ahead, but once your bulk is over, how do you think you'll go about cutting down? So probably, I mean, because the thing is, I might mid bulk do some kind of fast that's not necessarily, it's more, yeah, I've done this Christmas fast so many times now, you know, so I might do that and then get, so it's gonna be, I'm gonna lose 1 or 2 kilos from that, you know, and then get back to the bulk. And a bulk is supposed to be like 6, 7 months. I'm guessing I'll start out with one longer fast and then probably just go on a deficit and maybe sprinkle in fasts when I feel like it. You know, that's the thing. For someone like myself, I have such control on myself with this now, with diet, fasting, training, that I don't. It's always strange to talk about what I would do because it's almost never what I'd recommend to someone else. Just because I know that I can have I can take it a bit more by feel. I know my body so well, and it's so easy to me for me to adjust. I don't have to think to, oh, can I stick to this? You know. So you see, I kind of take it as it comes a little bit more. But I would guess I do one longer fast, like 5 days, go on a deficit, ramp up activity a bit, you know, and then just sprinkle in like 60-hour fasts when I feel like it. Mubashir Kadri, what's the training split you currently do? So my split, I should do a video about that as well. So my split, I basically train every day, but there's 5 days that are the main days. So from Monday, it, look, I like the upper lower split. I like the push pull leg split. I see different benefits and drawbacks to both. So I'd be like, how could I get both? And then I realized I make the upper lower and push pull legs make love and have a child that's a hybrid. So from Monday, I'm gonna say that 2 days are rest days now, but I'm gonna tell you I don't actually rest on them. But Monday is upper, then we have lower on Tuesday, then rest Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday's push pull legs, and Sunday is rest again. So it's kind of cool. There are two leg workouts. There's one upper workout when we work both posterior and anterior muscle. Okay, this is the anterior muscles, but both push and pull. And then we also have one push day and one pull day. That's kind of cool. But then now I also have that on Wednesdays, on Sundays, I throw in this like before I started bulking, I actually did abs, calves, and neck on Wednesday and Sunday. Now when I'm training harder, I'm hitting my core harder on the other workouts anyway. So now it's pretty much the neck and calf day with like one ab exercise, and I sprinkle other ab exercises out on the other workouts. Um, reflection is laughing, crying. I'm not sure at what. um, Benjamin, I too think that neck is a very neglected body part. What other body parts do you think we men miss? Glutes? I mean, glutes, not really. If you squat and deadlift and you're strong at it, you're gonna develop your glutes. Mine are, they could get bigger, I guess, but when I wear like tight pants or something, you see that I have a butt. Um, so no, not really. But forearms, I train forearms now too, by the way, and I train my forearms on the lower days actually. Like when I get to the end, at the lighter leg exercises, I go do forearm exercises in between. Uh, but forearms definitely, I would say, is kind of neglected. Like lots of guys train biceps, triceps, of course, and we get some indirect forearm work from some pulling exercises. But mine, I think forearms is a weak point for me. Calves, of course, for some. I mean, to be honest, entire legs for some guys. But yeah, my calves are getting pretty juicy right now. Um, 3D Gar, eller Edgar, I guess it is with a 3 at the start. Thanks for answering regarding sunscreen. how do you deal with people or so-called experts who says that sunscreen is the most sacred thing when it comes to sun protection? I mean, deal with them. Do you mean just people that come tell you? You know, I have a thing that I don't like debating people, because as soon as you're in a fight, like trying to convince someone, there's ego is gonna go. Oh, they're not gonna want to be convinced. So I'm gonna, if they start this big discussion, of course, my approach is kind of like, no, it's toxic. Like, I'm sure, our forefathers, they didn't have a sunscreen. We're here today. They seem to be dealing fine with the sun. I'll just spit uncommon sense at them, and then if it sticks or not, that's the thing. But I'm so used to fucking people having opinions and thinking they know best about stuff when I'm sitting there as the living example, knowing shit. Like with diet, there was this thing when I was with some people that I like and stuff this summer. They talked about gluten and things, and they're holding on to so many old views of these things, and I'm kind of like, guys, just fucking look at me. I'm not just a muscular shape, and my skin, my hair, everything is working so well with me. Like, just trust that I know better than you with this. But so many times I don't even go there. I let people, if they're not seem open-minded, I probably won't even engage. If they start like want to argue, I take the approach that nah, no, it's toxic. It's clearly, you just look at the ingredients, all that crap. No, our forefathers survived without that, and we're here today. I'm sure it's fine. And then just you present, as I did, your alternative solutions to dealing with sun. HD6 skills. Thoughts on skipping leg day if you play intense football 2 days a week? Shut the fuck up. Stop being dumb. This is the worst thing. Like, I know I kind of ride the bike a bit, so I don't think I had to train my legs. It's bullshit. You're just running around, bro. Like, you're playing football. You want stronger legs so you can deal better with it. You're more, you have more force, and like maybe you want to train with weights a bit more athletic. You're not just focusing on getting super high numbers on a single or something, but it will only benefit you to play footballs, and you're not developing leg muscles from just running around. So because I'm of course like joking a bit when I'm ranting to you like this, but I've heard it so many times with guys like, no, I feel like I have to train my legs because I go on the bike, I play football or something. It's like, okay, would you say like, I don't think I have to bench because I kind of I go fishing, I throw like this, so I don't think I have to really train my arms or your shoulders. um, Hi from California, Chris Krutil says, what's up, Chris? um, yeah, good to see you, man. Eli Ward, do you stretch or do other mobility work? So I will stretch randomly sometimes. Sometimes in the evening, actually helps me get tired sometimes. You put your body in kind of a sympathetic stretch, parasympathetic, I mean, uh, parasympathetic state, meaning the rest and digest nervous system. So I do it just for that reason sometimes. But mobility work, this is why I need to do my presentation video on my entire philosophy. I focused more on just mobility at times, but mobility is really something that when you have it, it's much, as with everything, it's much easier to maintain. So I have in my style of training, it's the holy trinity of um, like strength, hypertrophy, bodybuilding, and flexibility at the same time. And the thing is, especially hypertrophy and flexibility goes hand in hand more than you'd think, because training the muscle through a long range of motion is good for hypertrophy. Emphasizing the stretched position of an exercise is good for hypertrophy. So, for instance, doing something like really deep dips, of course, you're going to get stronger at the dips. You're going to build your chest and shoulders and triceps, and you're going to get better shoulder mobility. And doing ass to grass squats, you're of course going to build your legs and get stronger and build muscle, but you're also gonna open up your hips more. And it's actually what's improved my ability to squat deep is just doing past squats with weight. So I I have focused more directly on mobility work, but from what I've learned from that too, I've just kind of implemented it so that I, as often as possible, it's not every single exercise, but I go for a long range of motion and emphasizing the stretch position if that's an option. On some exercises, you just can't, literally can't, you know. Um, but yeah, I implement flexibility and mobility in my strength and hypertrophy training, and this is why I need to do my presentation on the entire training approach. Benjamin, how do you prevent hair loss? Do you detoxify your scalp or something? Look, I'm not the expert at this. Um, I just am not. Like you, to be honest, this is what we talked about this on the last stream. That if this is like a specifically difficult problem for you, that say that you have good skin and good energy and your gut works well and all that, but you're losing hair, maybe there are things you can do to specifically address that. But really, so because people ask me about my hair, oh, what do you do for your hair, what do you do for your skin and stuff, and I've never had to focus on something. It's just like I cleared out the shit out of my routines. I started eating well, sleeping well, training, prioritizing being outside in sunlight, and everything just turned good. So, diet is going to be a big thing for sure. Sun exposure, most likely for the hormones, But then, I'm not the guy. I'm just not the nitty gritty biohacker guy like that. I'm sure there are other things you could do to address it specifically, but really, almost any problem you have is like just be fucking healthy. Just do the basics and do them better. Mubashir Kadri, how many exercises and sets per body part do you do? I hear people saying 10 total sets per body part per week is enough. Um, did I talk about this in some video recently? Hmm. But yeah, 10 to 20 sets, I would say. It's a little different for different muscles, but 10 to 20. Um, yeah. Chris Kirutil, have you heard of Mike Mentzer's principles for training? It's funny, someone asked that last stream too, and I don't think it's you. I mean, I know he has a high intensity approach, and to be honest, I have quite a similar approach. I just do a little bit more volume than he did, I think. But I like going to failure and beyond. Like my typical, if it's not a compound, if it's, one step below a compound, like compound exercise, I often go to failure or like to 0 reps in reserve. But on almost all exercises, other than the biggest, I have an approach of 3 sets, all to failure, really. But the last set, I do some kind of intensity technique, drop set, lower the weight and continue after failure. Or, say, as an example, you do strict curls, and when you can't strict curl anymore, last set, you use some momentum to get the bar up and control the negative. So, yeah, I've heard ish. I've never looked into his principles a lot because, to be honest, I, I mean, well, from what I know, I mostly agree. Um, Benjamin, how do you manage your alcohol consumption when going out with friends? What's your philosophy on alcohol? I don't go out like that often at all, and I just don't drink. I don't drink. Like people want you to drink, I don't. And I can be fun enough. And if people get too drunk, I'm out of there, because it's one thing to be around others that drink when you don't, as long as they don't get super drunk, because then you feel like you're with children or something, and loud, annoying children. So my philosophy on alcohol is like the less the better. Like I'm not a complete puritan on anything really. It's just that some things, like the ratio, the balance, like something with alcohol, even people that think they don't drink much drink more than what's good for them. Um, so, I mean, I very rarely drink, and if I do, rarely more than like 2 units of whatever it is I drink. And I would most often opt for like a whiskey or even vodka on the rocks or sparkling wine. But I could have a one of time I could have maybe one beer, and of course I could have like a glass of wine with dinner. But I don't even remember the last time. I probably the last time was when I was back in Greece and I drank like a glass of wine with dinner or something. But alcohol is crap, It's such a destructive drug in many ways. Like you will do dumb things with it, but it destroys so much in your body, destroys your gut, uh, crashes your hormones. Like it takes days to recover from it completely. Even if you don't feel it after a few days, still takes many days. So how I manage it if I ever go, like I've been just yesterday. I was not going out, but I was as this baptism and this little party afterwards. People are drinking. I just don't. It's not that hard, and yeah. So I'm not super often in those situations. Most of the times when I am, I don't drink at all. If I do, I just drink very little and I do better choices with what I drink. And my philosophy is that alcohol is one of the most destructive drugs in the world. That people way overdo it. Um, I will say though that I had that in my kind of just uncommon sense fitness and philosophy presentation video. That if you honestly think it's worth it for you and you're living overall a healthier lifestyle and you think about, to me it's worth it. I like to share a bottle of wine with my significant other on a Friday, for instance. I think it's healthy in the sense that it's not it's not just about looking at the textbook like what is the healthy thing? Oh, I'll do that. Yes, most of the time you should do that. Like 90% plus of the time. But you see, sometimes I think actually doing something that's unhealthy, quote unquote. There is still a ratio of this. Like if you somehow try to convince me, oh, I like drinking every day, that's good for me. No, not really. But you see, I think there's a little wiggle room when it comes to health to do just something that you enjoy, makes you feel good, like enjoy the moment. Like maybe you enjoy your weeks more if you get to share that bottle of wine with your girl on Friday, for instance. So you see, I have a little bit of nuance there as well. But okay, guys, we've gone for 1 hour, 20 minutes. I've gotten to everything in the chat. So yeah, we got a good stream today. And this is the standard stream, you guys. 5 p.m., 17 o'clock Central European time on Sundays. Um, yeah, guys, please like and comment on this after I close it. Stay tuned for the next chat live, I mean. And yeah, I'll see you in the week in more videos and next Sunday. Peace, guys.